without Hunter doing it, are the first time this has been done without an outside change agent. Yes, they've all hired them, but in the past, Hunter represented something that was other than the existing plan, most notably at CP, where he basically said, you know, their plan is bad, I'm good, shareholders back that, and he proved, you know, financially to be correct in that. In this case, the same people who operated the bad plan, if you will, and I'm being very simplistic here, are the people who are now trying to make a good plan. That's different. There was a big rush to get any kind of Canadian you could find to come work with you. Some of these guys know. And whether they were actually part of the PSR process or not. And in some cases, whether they're actually Canadian or not, but they had a pedigree. It's been pretty interesting to follow this. I will also say that I feel for NS and UP, both of whom are politically sensitive companies. They're going through a process where their shareholders are saying, why can't you do it like Hunter did it? Why is it taking you so long? Why at the Norfolk Southern do you have better operating numbers? There's online, velocity, but you don't have a better operating ratio, which is simplistically the cult that we all follow. And on the other hand, they've got shippers and the STB and others saying, why are you doing anything at all? When are you going to hurt me? I feel it's, you know, they've already written their press release, I was saying earlier. They're just ready to put the date on it saying this is what you've done. Those, you know, that's a tough split right there. So there are a lot of shareholders who are really mad at particularly the NS, I'm just saying, because they're not doing these things fast enough. They only really brought out the PSR, they rolled it out in what they call, do I have it there? So UP's is called PSR as part of G55 plus 0 Unified Plan 2020. So it tells you that the first person they fired there was in their marketing department, or the PR department. Norfolk said PSR tenants informing, also not a very good advertising thing here, but they've only really started the merchandise part of their precision scheduled railroading experiment on July 1. So, you know, it hasn't been very long, and they're just rolling out intermodal and whatnot. So I would argue they are trying to be, they're using words like collaborative and whatnot. They're trying not to get the alderman commissioner mad at them, that's what they're trying to do. So what is PSR? These guys can tell you better than me. You know, it's balance, it's moving assets faster. It's not, one of the things that UP said that was actually, I think, really smart in all this process is we had too many boutique businesses going on. The first thing Hunter did, I told our table when he got to the IC, the beginning of his CEO career, was he saw a big poster that said the customer's always right, and he ripped it in half in front of everybody. Now, everybody would think he would do that because he doesn't like customers, right? He would think that railroads would be a great business if they didn't have to have customers. But really what he was saying is not every customer can be right. And that idea of boutique business, everybody getting, you know, A-class service means the network is not optimized at all. And I think that's a big part of what's happening here. But there are people who've experienced this in many directions here you can ask. So railroads and NAFTA, I just have this here as once again a reminder that I, as an American, the AAR, as a DC-based organization, often tends to think of the world as only existing in the middle part of those red lines. It really exists on both sides of it. In addition, the AAR says that 42% of the volume of U.S. railroads is trade-related. Now, I would tell you that as the rail industry, as I look at it, it's well over 15%, 50. It's well over, I'd say it's close to 60%.